Accucare Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine in Brick, New Jersey offers a state-of-the-art facility with all the best and current treatments. With athletic trainers, massage therapists, and doctors of physical therapy, Accucare has everything you need to stay healthy and perform at the highest level. Cupping, stretching, laser therapy, compression boots, and a full-body cryo chamber are just some of what you can expect at Accucare. Check out their website and social media links in my bio. No prescription is needed to see them. So call them today and start feeling and performing at your best. Again, thank you to Accucare for sponsoring the Shore Football Report. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Accucare High School Football Preview Show, Ocean County Edition, presented by the Shore Football Report. Today, we will talk Toms River South Indians with first-year head football coach, Coach Matt Martin. Coach, thank you for coming on the show and your busy schedule in the summer.
I appreciate you having me on, Rob. It's a great opportunity to showcase my program, and we're excited to get started and not only talk some football but play some football.
I'm excited for you. I'm excited for the program, and there's a lot of excitement coming out of Toms River South, and I couldn't wait to talk to you here because I want to know more about Toms River South. I really do, and couldn't get anybody better to talk football about South than you. So thanks again for coming on here. Before we talk about you, though, I want to brag about my team. The Shore Football Report made two big acquisitions. I have a sponsor now. I'm kind of a big deal. All right. Accucare, sports, physical therapy and sports medicine in Brick. Pam Anthony, the founder and owner. She's awesome. And you know, as well as I do, it's important to have your athletes healthy on the field.
Absolutely. Not a doubt. Our most important ability is our availability.
You're going to find out real quick. You got your game plans coming on, and all of a sudden, the guy's holding his back. And I don't know, go over there, go to Accucare, and they find out it's not your back, it's your hamstring. And now all of a sudden he's playing on Friday night and he's getting interviewed by the Shore Football Report, and everybody's all happy. We work together. But
I'm hoping for that.
She's going to be involved in all our football stuff throughout the year. Very excited to be associated with her. She's going to watch every one of the shows. She'll be watching this tomorrow when it comes on. And big supporter of the Shore Football Report. And I appreciate that. The other thing I'm real excited about is a mystery hire, Scott Stump. Scotty Stump. Now, when you played football, he covered you, didn't he?
Absolutely. Back in 2001, he was with another organization at that point, but he was around all of our games and following Toms River South at that point in time. And obviously, in my career, he was continuing to cover, and then to be absent for a few years and have him back is just it's a tremendous opportunity for Shore Conference football and the athletes that we're all coaching. So looking forward to reading, and paying attention to what Scott has to say.
Stump coming to the Shore Football Report was bigger news than LeBron James going to Miami Heat.
100%. 100%. Agreed.
Awesome. All right. So we got him. We have Accucare. We have everything in place. And then we have you. So congratulations on becoming the head football coach of a traditional, I always call it the Mecca of Ocean County, like Toms River South. And that's the way you were raised. Toms River South, you must be living a dream right now, being the head coach at your alma mater, right?
100%. And it's not, it is my alma mater. It's, but even more, I guess even more so is, my parents, both are Toms River South graduates. Coach Sig Senior, is my grandfather. Coach Sig Junior is my uncle. So it's something that has permeated within our family for years upon years. Aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone in the family is Toms River South fans, even if they weren't particularly graduates when it comes to cousins of Toms River South. So to have the opportunity to carry on a legacy and carry on a tradition of the family, but also from the personal side of things, be able to represent the school that I fell in love with 4 years ago as a student and as an athlete. Uh, it's sometimes I have to pinch myself to wake up from the dream, because it's a tremendous opportunity for me. And the kids have done a nice job the last 5 or 6 weeks preparing for the upcoming season, which has made the transition much easier. And we're just we're rip roaring ready to go. From trying to implement a new offense and a new defense, some new special teams things.
Good.
And we're just it's a process, but we're taking it day by day. But there's definitely some excitement and some high energy throughout the program.
Coach, I was reading my notes, and I cannot believe this is your 18th year of coaching. You are officially old.
100%. I tried doing some drill work this morning, and then I got off the couch to do this, and I felt old.
Yeah.
It's to think that I've been this is my 12th year at High School South. A couple years before that, were 4 years with Donovan, with Coach Duddy, and then 2 years at High School East before that. It's all gone in a blink of an eye, and I see former players now that have started families, had kids. And I'm saying to myself, where does the time go? To think that it was, 22 years ago that I graduated High School South, 21 years ago that I graduated High School South is, it's mind blowing at times. But in the same regard, it's put me in a good position to be prepared to take over a storied program like High School South.
Now, Coach, from Toms River South, you went to Monmouth and played for Coach Callahan. I want to know, with the process, who made, I know you have family that are all coaching, but when you graduated Monmouth, at what point did you know you were going to coach?
I actually kind of figured out my senior year of high school that I wanted to get into teaching and coaching. I broke my leg my senior year of football in the second game, and I missed the rest of the season after having surgery. And the coaching staff that was at South, Coach Sig Senior, Coach Sig Junior, Walt Curry, Brian Wilkinson, they welcomed me into the coaches' room, knowing that I wasn't going to have my senior season. And I got to see what the coaches did, behind the scenes, on the whiteboard, having discussion, having arguments. And it was just it was something that I said to myself, this is what I love to do. This is what I want to be able to do. So when I went to Monmouth, and I went there originally playing both baseball and football. I gave up baseball so that I can continue to learn, more and more about football. And Coach Cal, still to this day, is a great resource, for us, me and Billy Rankin, who's on my staff. And there's guys on the Monmouth staff that were there as players when we were there. So we can go back and reach back, and whether it's scheme stuff or situational stuff, we can, we always have an ability to go back and touch base with them and see what their thoughts are. And it was just a tremendous opportunity at Monmouth. Coach Cal treats all of his players so well, and it's just a great place to play football and develop from a young man to an adult ready for life.
Coach, when I look at your resume, again, I wrote down some notes. You kind of coached everywhere in Toms River except Toms River North. You were at Toms River East for 2 years, Donovan Catholic for 4 years, and then Toms River South. So you were around the whole Toms River community right there. Do you think it's important for you as a South coach now, knowing how it was in other places around, like your rivals? I would call them rivals.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. I actually coached basketball at High School North for a few years under Coach Nastis and Coach Bilodeau. So I had some, some ties to North back in the mid 2000s. I think being a Toms River kid, as well, someone who grew up, my parents still live in Toms River. They actually live in the house Coach Sig Senior bought as his first house he ever had in Toms River. So Toms River is what I know. my farthest drive is 1.25 miles to the school, and I do that every single day. So knowing what it was like at East or knowing what it was like at North or at Donovan, things change between coaches and everything else. But at the end of the day, from 90% of them, they're all Tom's River kids. And Tom's River kids, I think, have a special bond. And we go at it, or we went at it when we played, and we go at it now as coaches, hard. But, I would ride with anybody from Tom's River in a heartbeat, because I know what we're going to get. We're going to get guys, that are, hard nosed. They're going to stick together, and they're going to have your back. So there's differences amongst the schools. There's differences amongst the kids,
Yep.
but there's a whole lot of similarities. And I think, the Tom's River kids, when they play in the All Shore game, not just with the other Tom's River kids, but a lot of the Ocean County kids. The All Shore game is a great opportunity for our athletes to, play with their hated rivals that turn into their best friends in 5 days of practice. So, uh, you know, there's definitely some benefit to having moved around, but I would say that more than not, there's a lot of similarities that you can build off of, more so than differences.
We have a lot to talk about today. We really do, and I'm going to cram it in as best I could within, an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. But the one thing I'm going to tell you this is your first game when you're playing Tom's River East, you're going to be pinching yourself, going, "Oh my God, I'm the head coach!" Like everybody's answering to me now. You got the headsets. Everybody's now talking to you, and you never feel as prepared as you should be. But that's just first year jitters. And no matter how old you are, coach, and it's your first year, you always feel like that. I talked to Coach Donahue, Coach Rusilla. They all would say the same thing. So get it out of the way against Tom River East, and let the let your tenure go. I'm excited for you, and I'm ready to talk some football. You want to talk Tom River South football?
Absolutely.
Let's
Let's
do
rock
it.
and roll.
All right, coach, I'm going to whip that mask off. No more COVID. No more temperature checks. No more pods. I hate
Yeah,
those words.
all
It
those
back
pain
to
in the ass.
normal off season. Back to normal off season. Now, you got hired real late. June, May, right? June, May?
Yeah, it was the end of May board meeting. So it was a little bit of a late start. But there is some continuity between the staff. There are
Yeah.
some newcomers. There's obviously a continuity with me and the kids in the building. So easier than a coach coming in from outside. But still difficult in in the sense of trying to put together the staff, finalize the staff. I was also coaching spring track, trying to get through the spring track season where we had, guys running, in sectional championships and county championships and really doing well. And planning a wedding. So it was a hectic.
Things happen very quickly in a
Yeah, it
short
was a hectic
span.
6 to 8 weeks, but
Yeah.
we figured it out, and a lot of that credit goes to our kids who believed what we said, trusted what we said, and they made a lot of good decisions to get up early in the morning and come to workouts this summer.
Here's my question to you, though. Back to normal. When you take going into next year, the season just ends. Tell us what a normal off season will be like at Tom River South with you as the head coach.
I'll be honest. I think it's really important that we have athletes that play multiple sports. That will be my first push. We have our defensive coordinator, Vinny Arminio, is also the head basketball coach.
Yeah.
Our linebacker coach, Joe Kelly, is the head track coach at High School South. So we have some crossover amongst the staff when it comes to other sports. And that will be, my goal for many of the kids is to get them in at least one other sport, whether that's the winter or the spring, that they're competing in another sport and feeling the fire and the competition, in those situations or in those, different situations than on a football field. If you're not going to be competing in another sport, then you're going to be expected to be in the weight room, a brand new weight room. Tom's River South is going to be getting a brand new weight room starting in September. We're waiting for the flooring to go in at this point in time. A lot of the equipment has been delivered. So it's hopefully going to be a place that a lot of kids that are out of sports or out of season, not playing their second sport, will feel at home and be excited to be in. They've shown and demonstrated throughout the summer with a little bit of a makeshift weight room, which we can get into in a minute, that they're capable, of not letting circumstance stop them from getting better. Okay, and at this point in time, there's a lot of construction going on at High School South, and we don't have the ability to be inside in our weight room. So we actually moved the weight room to the shed next to the field house that has no air conditioning, no windows, no anything, and we drag the weights out onto the patio every morning, and the kids work out under the sun. We've luckily only had one day of rain,
Wow.
where it gave us a little bit of problems. But again, the kids embraced it. They understood that this is Tom's River South, and this is what we have. We're going to make do with it. We're not going to whine. We're not
Right.
going to complain, and we're going to find a way to get it done. And with the new weight room opening up in the fall, I'm sure the kids will be even more thrilled to get in there. But my number one priority for those kids is to compete in another sport, get coached by another set of eyes, get be drilled in a different manner so that we develop more coordination throughout our hands, our eyes, our feet, and then of course meet other people in school that aren't playing football. Be a classmate more than a football player. We don't want football to define any one student. We want well-rounded student athletes that are competitive throughout the year, 365 days, and want to get better. And the way we do that, or the way athletes do that, is to continually compete, whether that is the weight room or on another field or court. That's going to be our stress point throughout the winter and the spring. Is go out for another sport, and that's fine if you don't. But then our expectation is you're going to be in the weight room and 3 to 4 days a week, and that'll depend on what the kid's doing. We're going to try and work with them and be flexible. Put them on 2 different programs depending upon what their work schedule is. But the expectation is that we have to make our physical well-being, our physical health, a priority. And you can go work after school and all that, just as we've told our kids, work all summer. But we have to, continue to improve physically, and we do that in the weight room or playing another sport.
Yeah, I mean, that's great, man, because you had everything squashed in a 3 week span where you had to do so many things that were put in place while other programs have been working out. They've been doing this, they've been doing that. Boom. You had a little bit of a stoppage in your program where they named the new head coach, which was you, and you had to reassemble everything. Like, it's okay. We're fine. We're good. And I know you're all about the kids and the players, and it shows because they're excited. But was that the first thing you had to do, was make sure the kids know that everything's going to be okay?
Yeah, I think I was coaching track at that point, and we had a number of football players out for the track team, and I think in the beginning, the kids were a little gun shy to talk to me about it, and then I kind of blurted it out, like, if you guys need to talk, come talk to me, and then next thing you know, the floodgates open, and still through that interview process, there's a level of uncertainty, and I just told the kids, no matter who the coach is, whether it's me or Nick Saban, he's going to expect you to be in shape. He's going to expect you to work hard. So that's what you guys have to focus on.
Yeah.
And you're hopefully, the sophomores or the freshmen that are in the program, now will have me, throughout their career. And they'll learn, hopefully under me and under our staff, that hard work and, attention to detail, those are the things that are going to carry it. It's not going to be one specific guy as the head coach or one specific defensive coordinator that's going to carry it. People, coaches move on, they get opportunities, and at some point in time, they're going to be, those players are going to have opportunities to move on to college and whatever it may be, and eventually into the workforce, where they may have to tell a boss that, I'm no longer working for you. Okay, but at the end of the day, nothing's personal, and it comes down to making the best decision for yourself. But at that, but you have to be able to work each day, and you have to pay attention.
Yeah, that's very interesting, Coach, how you got it real late. I'm excited for you next year, but a lot has to go. A lot of in betweens have to come in place with football. But after the season's done, you got your banquet. You're gonna have to do all that stuff, and then the good stuff: bonding, playing multiple sports, which I know Kenny Frank would love to hear. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We had to give him a plug.
We've had quite a few baseball players make
Yeah.
an impact on football. I was one of them back in 2001.
Oh,
Brett
yeah.
Hardy was another, and South, we have to share our athletes. There's no
Have
doubt
to.
about it. We don't have 2,500 kids walking the hallways, and we have a lot of good coaches and a lot of people who are good for kids in the building. And like I said, I want my players exposed to more than just me, because I'm not perfect, okay, and neither is
Yeah.
any one of my coaching staff members. So go get exposed to other coaches, learn, listen, and take each day and treat it the way it's supposed to be treated, where you're gonna get the most out of it.
All right, Coach. I want to hear your first staff, your coaching staff. Let's hear their names.
So we'll start with the defense side of the ball. As I stated before, Vinny Arminio is going to run our defense, and he's going to be coaching the secondary. Assisting him in the secondary is going to be Tom Malik, who's been coaching for quite some time. At the linebacker position, as I stated before, is going to be Joe Kelly. This is his 12th year at High School South as well. He was part of the Coach Sig Jr.'s inaugural staff,
Mm-hmm.
so he knows the kids pretty well. And as I said, he's the head track coach. Jim Dempsey is going to be a D-line coach. Demps I've known him since my first year coaching at High School East, so we go way back. And I'm excited to see what those guys do in collaboration with one another. All of them have different experiences and different viewpoints. Some older, some younger, and for them to be able to sit in a room and collaborate some of those ideas, I'm excited to see what comes out of it. From the offensive side of things, uh, we actually are going with two offensive line coaches, and they'll help with the tight ends and the run game. The first one, Kyle Austin. Again, it's his 12th year at High School South will be this one coming up. Rich Stratton is going to join our staff. Did quite a number of years, I believe it was 9 under Coach Wilkinson. He's also our head of guidance, so kids have an outlet to go to be able to see what's going on as far as their grades are concerned and what's to do next when it comes to college recruiting. And then we have the quarterbacks coach is going to be Billy Rankin, and he'll be calling the offense.
Mm-hmm.
And then our wide receivers coach is going to be Darius Hart, who played for us and graduated Toms River South in 2014 before he went on to Maine and had a highly successful career starting at safety up there. And then the last two guys, Bill McDonald, who's coached a few years ago at High School South with us. He's been at Brick the last few years. He's going to be helping out on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball. The running backs on offense and the linebackers on defense. And then Ricky Maldonado, okay, is another guy that's going to be sticking around and helping out. This will be his 6th year, I believe, at South as a guidance counselor. Just a real high energy. You see Ricky in the hallway more than you see most of the kids in the hallway. He's always around trying to dab everybody up and get everybody in the right mindset to get through the school day. And he's just a tremendous asset to have in that sense from the player development side of things. And then I'll be helping out with both offense and defense, as the coaches need me to help out with either to be another set of eyes at another position or to run the scout teams. So I'm excited about what we have, from a coaching staff. Like I said, it's a lot of different variety. It's not necessarily rigid.
Mm-hmm.
I have crossover. I have experience with many of the coaches, but I've stressed to them, we got to find a way to make whatever it is that we're doing work for this year. And then if it has to be different next year, then it'll be different next year. But whatever we have, from a talent and skill level standpoint, let's work with it. Let's mold it to what we need it to be for the year, and let's design our schemes to do that. And they've done a tremendous job. I've asked quite a bit of them through the month of July to come in and help me run workouts from both the strength and conditioning side of things, and then also to start installing all of our fundamental footwork and all of our base offense and base defense, and they haven't batted an eye. Okay, so they've been dedicated, they've been committed, and I'm just really excited to get to work with all those guys. They're just a great group of men.
Right. Yeah, they are great guys and all that. That's a great staff to start out with too. I mean, you lucky guy, man.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it. Things fell in a lot of positive directions to be able to
Good.
keep all those guys around.
I got two things just to talk about with this. First, I know two of those young men. Well, they're not really young. Coach Rich Stratton and Tom Malik, good
Yep.
friends of mine. Coached with them at Lacey for a long time. They went to my wedding and all that stuff. Let me tell you about those two guys. If it's anything about caring about kids, they're two of the top ones. They really are. Rich Stratton's great with the humor and all that stuff. Tommy Malik, who's also the softball coach, they
Yep.
both love and have a passion for coaching kids on and off the field. Tell me something about both of them that I might not know about.
That you know them probably better
I
than I
do.
do.
I do.
But I've actually, I'll be honest. The first time I met Coach Stratton, he was actually coaching the All Shore game
Okay.
that I was fortunate enough to play in. So that was
Mhm.
my first introduction to Coach Stratton. And of course, it's a 6-day event, 5-day event.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to know each other real well. But now having been in the building together for now going on year
Right.
12, we know each other pretty well, and
Yeah.
it's always good to have a conversation and chit chat. As he was at Manchester the last couple of years, and we were
Uh-huh.
able to kind of bounce some ideas slash tell each other about what's going on the field. So that's been great. And Tom, his brother Rich was actually my secondary coach and
Hmm.
my freshman basketball coach at High School South. So
Great.
um, I've known Tom for quite some time, and again, he was part of he was at South early in Coach Sig's tenure. So have again a background relationship, even though it hasn't been something that has been current. We know each other real well.
I love them
Um,
both. I tried to get them to Barnegat all those years, but I guess they didn't like me as much. I don't know what it
yeah,
is, but they're very loyal to you, and they're excited. They're excited, but
I think the biggest thing, I think a lot of, I think a lot of the guys that are on staff, a lot of them are I have a very good relationship and I'm
yeah.
very good friends with. But I think most importantly, when it comes to, coaching, at High School South, and I think you see it in a lot of our programs, whether it be, basketball or as you mentioned, softball
Hmm.
with Tom and Rich. Uh, we're loyal Tom's River South kids. We
Hmm.
care about
True.
Tom's River South kids. We want to make sure what the kids are doing is best for them at Tom's River South, whether that's participating in our sport and another sport, uh, spreading our coaching throughout. As I said, I'm part of the spring. I'm part of spring track. I also coach basketball.
Yeah.
We try to impact Tom's River South kids every opportunity we get. Boys, girls, who's ever in our hallway, we hope that we can have a positive impact on them each and every day. And I think that's what's most important about coaching, keeping the kids at the forefront
Yeah.
and trying to develop them, socially and emotionally and physically as they move through their high school career.
I got one more thing to say to you. You've been an offensive coordinator. I've known you as a defensive coordinator, which is very rare. Not too many people can say they coordinated both sides. You do a great job with that too, may I add. Now, you're not doing that as a head coach. So it's going to be tough for you, and I want to hear it from you. You coordinated both sides of the ball throughout the years, and now you're the head coach, and I respect it because I like that. You're delegating to be the head coach. Why are you doing that? And it shows you have a lot of trust in those guys because you always had your hands in on the thing. Delegating right away, I think, is smart.
Yeah, well, I think, as I think most head coaches would testify, when you get into that role of head coach, there's a lot of other stuff that comes onto your plate when you're not a coordinator.
Yeah.
So I think the easiest way to help me deal with some of those things is not to have to go home and necessarily create the 60-minute practice plan and draw cards for inside Skelly and
Mhm.
team and all that kind of stuff. So it was, once I spoke to Vin and I spoke to Bill and I got the commitment from both of them, having worked with both of them, Billy for a number of years, and we went to high school together, we went to college
Mhm.
together. That was the easy one, so to speak, to trust because we're best friends. In the case of Vin, we only worked together for 1 year, but I've known him literally since he was 8 years old, and I was working his father's football camp over at High School East.
Mhm.
But once they were committed uh, to running both the offense and the defense. We talked about staffing and figured out all of that. You know, is it easy to always be on the outside listening? I wouldn't say it's easy at this point because I've always been the guy with the marker at the
Yeah.
board. With that said, I love the stuff that they're putting on the board. They're doing, they're taking it, they're running with it. They're sound with why they're doing the things they're doing. And you know, as long as we can sit there as a staff and collaborate, and then come to one conclusion and trust that conclusion that we sit and come about to, we're going to be all right. And it's not a matter of me calling the plays or Bill calling the plays or Vinny calling the defense. We're all going to have make a contribution to the game plan. We're all going to make a contribution throughout the week to get our kids prepared. And we're a team, no different than our quarterback's got to trust that his left tackle is going to make the block on the pass play and not get out of the pocket too early. Sit in there and make the throw. Well, guess what? Coach Martin, sit in there and trust Coach Arminio. He's gonna do his homework and he's gonna have the right call.
I like it.
So it's different for me. Haven't been the coordinator for the last 13 years, but it's been welcome to be able to also. One of the other things I do like about it is I get to contribute to both sides. I bounce back and forth between the offensive meeting and the defensive meeting. They bounce ideas off of me because of my experience, and it gives me a handle on what's going on both sides of the ball.
Good. That's awesome. Yeah, and you'll have a pulse on the team because those
Yeah,
players.
100%. And I am going to. I'll be coordinating the special teams. So if a punt gets blocked, it's my fault, and if an extra point gets blocked, it's my fault. So. I think special teams are important, and I know every coach preaches that to their kids. But I think when the head coach said, "I'm running the special teams," I think there's a little bit more enthusiasm from the kids and a little bit more attention to detail. So hopefully that will be a benefit, as we move throughout the season.
You're saying you're doing punt. I'm looking at your roster. I don't even think you're going to punt this year. You're loaded.
Yeah. I might not punt. I'll just blame it on analytics. I'll just say I'm a math teacher. The analytics said we don't need to punt. So.
All right, Coach. To the left is going to be your first football season schedule. To the right is the Freedom Division. Please, I want to hear your input on your schedule this year, and then I kind of want to throw a couple of questions to you about the Freedom.
As far as the schedule is concerned, there are some, we have some familiarity this year. We played East, we played Brick, we played Red Bank, played Tom's River North, played Brick Memorial all last year. So we do have a little bit of familiarity. If I just, to go game by game, Tom's River East, has given us problems the last few years. It beat us last year. We're playing them at home, which will, hopefully be a benefit to us. But Coach Sandberg has done a tremendous job, changing the culture over there and getting those kids to be, a physical bunch of kids that, believe in running the football and, playing smash mouth throughout all four quarters. Lost another tough one last year to Brick. Coach Z has been there, for quite a few years now. I've known him since I was real little, and Coach Sig Sr. was coaching at Brick under Coach Wolf. Tremendous amount of respect, and I know he's doing his best to maintain the standard that Coach Wolf set there. Tom's River South Brick. I don't know if there's a better rivalry in the Shore Conference than Tom's River South Brick. Coming from somebody who's on both sidelines for that as a kid. Red Bank last year. We played them in the driving rain. Coach Fallon, got this wide open, spread attack. Got athletes on both sides of the ball. It was a tough game. We were able to pull it out at the end. Last play, final play of the game type thing, and going to be a tough one up against the Bucks up there. I mean, Tom's River North, took one on the chin against them last year. They bring back, I think, 20 of 22 starters. Played in the state sectional final last year. Tremendously talented. I know a few of their players through the track and basketball programs, and a good group of kids. Coach Oz, always has them, ready to play. Ocean is somebody I'm not as familiar with. I know Coach Klein's been there for a while, and I do know the quarterback is a heck of a player. Monmouth offered him. I hope he goes to Monmouth. And he's just, I'm sure it's going to be a dynamic, we're going to have to come up with some dynamic ideas, to top Ocean Township. Brick Memorial, Coach Curry was one of my high school coaches. Just ran into him a couple weeks ago. I know they're always going to be well coached and prepared. Great quarterback. Broke the school record, I believe, last year for touchdowns in a single season. Going to have a tough sled in there. Raritan, I haven't been in a game against Raritan since I was with Donovan back in 2009, 2010. I know a couple of guys on staff there. Again, they're traditionally been a flex bone team. Anytime you play an option football team or 11 on 11 football team, it's going to make for tough sledding, and they always seem to get hot towards the end of the year. So of course we
Yeah.
get them late in the schedule. And then Coach Duffy at Neptune, we have had quite a few experiences with them. 3 of the last 5 years or so we've played Neptune. And Neptune's going to be Neptune. They're going to have talented kids that can score in a hurry on offense, and they're going to be physical on defense. They're tough, they're tough, gritty kids. So we have our work cut out for us, and I think our players know that. I think our coaching staff definitely knows that, and um, we're looking forward to get started against High School East, as we move forward.
Coach, that is an interesting schedule. And I'm just thinking out loud. 3 out of your first 4 games, and I'm not excluding Red Bank, but 3 out of your first 4 games are huge rivalry games. Huge. And you know that. East, Brick, Brick South, you're right, is one of the most fierce rivalries, back
Yeah,
in
I
the
mean,
day. And then
you know, I,
Tom North.
I think that the Shore Conference, I think that the scheduling that we've been now doing the Shore Conference has a ton of pros and it has a few cons, just like any other thing in life. One of the cons, in my opinion, in the last few years, we haven't had the opportunity to continue our rivalries. But in this schedule, we do. As you said, in the first 4 weeks, we have 3 of our biggest rivals. We have Brick Memorial on the schedule, which, when you think of Toms River South, you think of A South and the old A South teams. So it's a tough schedule, no doubt about it. But it's just, and rivalries make it even tougher. But it's also, I think, someone who played at South and lived through those rivalries. It's something that I get excited about, and hopefully our players will get excited about as those weeks come.
Good. Now the Freedom Division. Parity is the word. Parity. Looking top to bottom, 1 to 6. Coach, I sent this out to 4 coaches out there. I said, I want you to pick the order of how it's gonna finish, 1st to 6. All 4 of them were different. It's tough because you got a bunch of teams here with the same expectations, a bunch of teams here that are excited about football right now, and you can win or lose any week in this division.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And like I said, I think part of it is the way that the Shore Conference is scheduling. I think part of it, is also football. In general, most games come down to 3 plays. You
Yeah.
know, hopefully those 3 plays, you're on the winning side of, or the ball bounces your way, whether it's a fumble, by the opposing team that you're able to jump on, or they're able to recover. We have, every coach has experienced that, and that's why the week of practice is going to be important because there's not going to be any walkover games. It's not the way it's not the way it should be, and it's certainly not the way it's designed to be at this point because our division has a bunch of teams that have, like you said, expectations and
Mm-hmm.
standards for what they expect to happen this year, and all the coaches and all the players, I'm sure, are going to work their tails off to earn the W's as we go throughout the season.
I'm thinking out loud. You're walking out of your field house, greeted by the Tom River South band playing the South War Chant, which is second to none, and you're coming out and you're debuting against Tom River East, a rival from across the town. Boy, is there going to be so much excitement on that
Yeah,
field.
yeah,
The first
absolutely.
day,
And
Coach.
one of the comments that was made was, it's going to be weird without having been in school yet. Our kids
Yeah.
aren't going to be in school,
Mm-hmm.
so what's the crowd going to be like? And my response to the assistant coach who asked me about it, I said, it's Southeast.
Yeah.
Okay? There's social media. There'll be plenty of students at the game. There'll be plenty of parents and plenty of people that are Tom's River, living in Tom's River, that'll be out for that game. And it's actually been changed. It says September 2nd, but
Mm-hmm.
we are actually right now. It's going to be played September 1st.
On Thursday.
Yep. So
Wow.
it'll be a good way to kick off. Good way to kick off the football season. A little bit of Thursday night football, and two teams that are anxious to get started and want to kind of put their put their foot down and show everybody who they are. I'm excited to get a chance to play High School East and Coach Sandberg.
I don't think attendance will be an issue at that game, Coach.
No, I don't think so either. I think there'll be plenty of juice.
Coach, tell us what we can see offensively, defensively. What are you guys running?
Offensively, we're going to be primarily based out of the spread. We'll be in some two-back stuff, but a lot of one-back stuff. Have multiple personnel groupings. We want kids to be flexible or adaptable and be able to play in multiple positions and have multiple roles within our offense. From the defensive side of things, I'll be honest, it's kind of similar. We've transitioned to the 3-3 stack, and part of the reason we did that was we thought we had quite a bit of versatility with our linebackers slash safeties and corners that we can be able to manipulate and move them throughout the defense and keep things simple so that we can play downhill and play. I'll be honest with you, we'll be probably much more of an aggressive blitzing defense than under what I was as a defensive coordinator, because that's Coach Arminio's MO when he was running the defense at High School East. Did a tremendous job there. And as we talked before, it's his defense. But from a structure standpoint, we'll start off in that triple stack, and we'll see how all the pieces fit. And we expect to be an aggressive style of defense.
Yeah, so you change different schemes for both sides, fitting your personality of your team. Must be interesting and fun for like something different.
Yeah, it's definitely it's been I'm not we don't know everything as coaches. In some cases we're doing some work throughs. How do we want to adjust to this trip, or how do we want to handle this for iTech, and being able to work through it and really get through the the minutia of making those decisions has been fun as a coaching staff to really get our gears going about football. And I think from a player standpoint, we have kids that in years past have lined up on offense and on the right side as a split end, and that's all they've done. And now next thing you know, they're moving throughout the offense and they're learning how to do different things besides running the outside routes of the route tree. And they've shown quite a bit of dedication and learning what they're supposed to do. And I think they're getting jazzed up about it because
Good.
It's different.
Coach, this segment right here is something I added this year. I wanted to talk about top positional groups. I think it's important not just have one star in the position and then have a bunch of other guys sitting there just watching. I think when you have positional groups that all work together and really make it work for one side of the ball, offense, defense, special teams, I think it's important. And I'm going to magnify your team because I do everybody's. And here's my take on Tondra South. Are you ready? Taking notes. Are you good?
I am. I have it right here.
Talking to everybody and all that. Here's what I think that your strength of your offense. Your spread offense. I can't wait to see it. But I think you're going to utilize your running back receivers in multi ways. True, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, I think it's those guys. You have a bunch of Devin Bond, a senior. Devin Bond is one of the top running backs in the Shore. Mike Early is senior. Joel Small, Joe Rivera, I like him too. I heard so many good things about him. He's a junior, surprising people. Then receivers like seniors, Dylan Lee, junior, Justin Costin, Jordan Jones. I keep hearing his name out. And Cooper Greitz. I did bump into him at the Old Shore Classic, and I got to give him a little bump with that too. We took a selfie. He's really good at taking pictures too.
He was excited about it, Coach.
I was excited too. I couldn't wait the next day to be tagged in it. But Coach, those receivers and running backs, I just figure that they're going to be the real focal point of your offense. With that, am I kind of right with those guys?
Yeah, we want to like we stated before from an offensive standpoint. We want to give kids the opportunity to learn different spots, so that if they have the ability to to do those things well, we can give them the chance to do them in games on Friday nights, or if it's a JV game on Monday or a freshman game on Thursday. We want kids that are that are not only good football players, but we want them to be well rounded throughout the field and be able to give us multiple looks.
It's nice to have a unit like that. A lot of pieces you can kind of piece in here or there and still have the flow of your offense. It really is important. Defensively, Coach Arminio has got some dudes at linebacker that he's going to have fun with. Guys will be coming and going with blitzes, and they're going to be aggressive out. I think your linebackers, the kid Nico Crudup, I cannot believe how strong this kid is. I mean, in the weight room, he's like an ox, man, right?
Yeah, he's just he's always been a tough, hard nosed worker. Mom and dad have been tough on him with working out and everything like that. He wrestles in the winter. He's a very hard working kid that dedicates himself. And I'll be honest, one of the things that is great about Nico is as big and as strong as he's gotten himself to be. He's his legs aren't different than his bench press. He goes after his squats and he goes after his deadlifts.
Nice.
He's got quite some potential to play, some
He played a little
significant football
DN
for us.
for you though in the past.
He's played D end. He's played nose. He's been an outside. He's been a 7 technique in the 3-4 for us. He's kind of as a sophomore and junior. We've had other good linebackers, and he was kind of forced into playing some D line for us because we wanted to get him on the field because of his
Mm-hmm.
athleticism, because of his ability. And now he's a senior, so he's got the first right, so to speak, to try and win a linebacker job. And we'll see how that pans out over the next few
And
weeks.
I don't want to forget the other guys. Joel Small. I mean, he's a senior, and he's a name out there that everybody knows about. Dennis Forbes, a junior. I love Dave Lazaro. I love the junior Nick Iannone, Phil Vega, a sophomore, and Mike Early. He does everything, Mike, as a senior. I think those linebackers all complement each other, and different guys are going to be coming off the edges or ex sons.
Absolutely. We have, it's an athletic bunch. We don't really have besides Nico, most of the other guys are kind of hybrid
Yeah.
safety slash linebackers that are going to be able to run. And, like I said, Coach Arminio wants to be able to kind of light a fire under their rear end with a couple, blitz calls and just cut them loose. And I'm excited to see what, that group, can do for us as we move forward.
I don't know. I mean, if we all do our research, us coaches and all, I don't think there's going to be a lot of balls kicked deep on your special teams. You got 3 guys, one particular, Devin Bond. I mean, you kick the ball deep. I mean, you're at your own risk right now. He's taken 2 to the house last year. Dynamic football player. Coach, no one's going to kick the ball him. You could put him in the first wave, the first line, then they'll kick it deep. But
Deep, exactly.
but
Dev's done some very good things on special teams for us. Done some good stuff on offense and defense. I'm excited to get him, hopefully healthy for the whole year. Last year he dislocated his elbow in the first game, so he's out. But he's got home run ability. He's an 11-second kid in the 100 in the spring, and I'm excited to see what he can do. Anytime he touches the ball.
But you have two other underclassmen, coach. You also have. You have Jordan Jones, the junior, and Danny Pearson, the sophomore. I think he's a sophomore, right?
Yes, he is. Yeah, and Jordan's a little bit of a on the smallish side in terms of football, but he started at point guard this past year as a sophomore for us. Just a tremendous competitor. Has really worked his butt off in the weight room to get himself stronger for both football and basketball. And then Danny Pearson, was somebody that as a varsity coach last year that would watch freshman games. Just one of the kids that kind of stood out and just goes and gets the ball. He just he's on offense, he goes and gets it. He's on defense, he goes and gets it. Ball's punted or kicked off to him, he goes and gets it. He's just he has the potential to be a very dynamic player for us on special teams.
Not too many people could say they return a guy that has 2 kick return touchdowns coming back.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good thing.
It's definitely a benefit to have as the special teams coordinator. That makes my job a little bit easier.
Coach, tell me something about your team this year coming back. Your players, the players that you are embracing, that you inherited in that real quick 3 weeks we talked about it. You won them over. They worked their tails off in the off season for those 3-4 weeks and into the summer. Now you got them. Tell me the starters coming back and some dudes out there that I need to know about.
I'll be honest. I think one of the things I was most impressed with from the group, as a group this year, we averaged 105 kids at summer workouts 4 days a week for 2.5 hours. That's 9 through 12, but we averaged 105.
It's a lot.
And we had over 80% make over 80% of their workouts that were scheduled in the summer. We were scheduled for 20, so we had 80% make 80% or 16 of the 20 workouts. So I think at this point, before we've really got a good look at kids in pads and how they're gonna fit into what we want to do schematically and how they're going to learn things, in the fire, so to speak. I think my team deserves a pat on the back for the effort that they've put forth, and hopefully we as coaches can take advantage of the opportunity that they've put forth and put them in position to give them a chance to win, because they've certainly listened. They've certainly put their time and put their blood, sweat, and tears into it. So as a staff, it's on us, to give them an opportunity to have success. And I think the biggest thing, as we close, this up is I want my team to know, that they've done a lot of good things and they've matured. Of course, like I tell them every day, I'm going to complain or I'm going to nitpick about things, and I want them to continue to get better. But I think I'd be remiss not to congratulate them on what they did through the month of July. And one other thing, we go 7 to 9:30, 4 days a week in the morning, and for the kids to have the attendance that they did, that means the parents are doing a lot. Parents are getting up out of bed, getting them to this field before work, in many cases, or maybe after their night shift ends. So I'd like to say, thank you to the parents, for making a concerted effort to make sure that your athlete, got to High School South, and you gave them an opportunity to get better and work out with their friends and their teammates, which they'll be for life.
Coach, that sophomore class that you have did a lot of research. Is something I know we're talking about the moment right now, but that sophomore class with the upperclassmen that you have, and I hear they're great leaders. You got a lot to look forward to. A lot
Yeah,
to look forward to.
and sophomores. I had a meeting with them actually the other day as a class, and I spoke to them. One of the things I brought up was in my sophomore year at High School South as a player, which was Billy Rankin's senior year in 1998. We started about 7 sophomores on a team that went 11-0 and played for the state championship and lost to Ocean City.
Really?
So yeah, they're sophomores, and they could be, what the future of High School South is. But more importantly, they can be contributors this year.
Yeah.
They can be contributors. If they continue to show up for practice and continue to work. You're not going to sit on the bench because you're a sophomore. That's not the way it's going to work at High School South. We're going to compete for our playing time. We're going to develop one another because we're going to, iron sharpens iron, and we're going to compete against each other. So I'm excited about the sophomore class, and sure, they can have a tremendous future, but they should worry about Tom's Reese and what comes after Tom's Reese this year, because they have a chance to contribute, this year. They don't have to wait until they're juniors or seniors.
I could tell how excited you are. You're ready.
Yeah, they have some ability, but I'll be honest. We only have 14 seniors right now playing football,
Really?
but they have been tremendous. They're dedicated, they're committed, they're working. And then from the junior class, we have 21. I think out of the 21 juniors, we had 16 of the 21 juniors, or 17 of the 21 juniors have perfect attendance this summer, all 20 workouts. So it's not, it may not be the sophomores' time, but because the juniors and seniors are doing, they're doing what they're supposed to do. But at the end of the day, we got to compete with one another to develop our skills and to push ourselves in the right direction. And at the end of the day, when we do that, that will put our best team out there. Not giving away or conceding positions and or playing time to any one position or any one player or any one class.
Well, Coach, this was great. I got a lot of information, and I got great vibes. The vibes were great. You're excited.
I appreciate having me on, Coach.
You're not only excited about your football team. I know you're excited about the Shore Football Report. That's what's getting me going.
I'll be honest. Again, as the head football coach, I wasn't getting the text messages and I wasn't getting the emails that I get from you, and the unbridled enthusiasm that you show for the Shore Conference and the football programs in it is tremendous, and it's going to benefit all the teams throughout the Shore Conference. So to you, Accucare, and Mr. Stump, I wish you guys the best, and I hope we give you some fun stories to write about. Fun games,
good stuff. There's definitely a lot of stories in your program, a lot of positive stories. Excited for you, excited for your players, excited about the games you're going to be playing. You're playing in some big games, and that's got to be exciting. Football's right around the corner. Make sure that you tell your staff I said hello and pump this out. This is for you. It'll come out tomorrow, and we'll see how many views you get because we do a top 20 for view count. And Tom to the South wants to be in the top 20, not only on the football field.
Everything should be competition.
There you go.
Right? Everything.
Everything.
So I'm ready to go.
We're gonna find out. So when this goes out tomorrow, we're gonna find out how excited your community is within the short conference. Coach, wishing you the best and best of luck to you guys.
I appreciate it.
Go Indians. All right, now we're going to talk to the Tom River South football players. Coach Morton spoke very highly of you guys. Not only are great football players on the field, but more importantly, off the field. So let me introduce you guys and get right into what I want to get into. All right, we have senior up top in the left corner, Devon Bond, a running back, safety, and a kick returner and a punt returner, and one of the best around too. So thanks for coming on. Right up top in the middle, we got James King, a center, offensive guard, defensive end, defensive tackle. Basically, you play all the positions on the line, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming on. Good. To the right, we have senior wide receiver, cornerback Dylan Lee. Dylan, thank you again for coming on the show. And last but not least, down below, we got Joel Small, the middle linebacker, inside linebacker from Tom River South. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yes,
all right. Listen, I did a lot of research on every program, yours included. I need 5 questions answered, and I know everything about you guys. Short Football Report needs to know this, and then we can move on. You guys ready? Let's get right into it.
Sure.
First question that I need to know is, who's the funniest dude in the program? I want to know who, Dylan, we're going to start with you because you're laughing. Who's the funniest guy that makes Matt Martin and those coaching staff, Coach Stratton, who I know real well, who makes those guys laugh on the football team? Dill, start it off.
Probably Justin Costin.
Oh, he's funny?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Any linemen, Mr. King, that are pretty funny?
Lineman? Probably Donovan Wilkinson. That's my best bet.
He's funny?
He's a funny dude, believe it or not.
I know his father. His father's not that funny, though. But, yeah, so Donovan's funny?
Yeah, he's hilarious.
So you got a sophomore that's pretty funny there, huh? Is there anybody else out there that can make those coaches laugh?
Probably Nico Crudo.
I was about to say that.
Nico, he's pretty funny too?
Yeah.
Good.
Nico Crudo.
Well, it's always, guys, there's nothing wrong with having some good jokes here and there. Did Coach Martin walk into a room yet where you guys kind of had to stop laughing because you were waiting for the coaches and then you had to kind of like stop talking and do it? Those are the good teams.
Yeah, a couple of times like that.
As a coach, I always wondered who was the clowns on my team. You guys just told me at Tom River South. I got it. So I'm one step closer. Number 2, who's the leaders of the team when Coach Martin or the staff wants you to echo the message out to everybody out there and you get a mass group message? Who's the guy that sends it all out?
James King. Big James.
You're the dude? You're the anointed leader, huh? Good. Well, it's important to get that message out. You know, it helps the coaches out. And sometimes us coaches don't know how to get a hold of you. You all have different social media platforms. I remember when I was coaching, I had a group message, I had an Instagram, I had a Twitter. Everybody had different types of platforms. But do you guys have like a big group football message thing?
Yeah.
I guess times have changed. That would make it easier. Number 3, getting back to normal. Not wearing these masks anymore. I know I look better with a mask on, but now that we're back to normal, no mask, no COVID, no pods, tell me how great it was to be working out with the football team all off season. Devon, how great was it to be back to normal?
Feels amazing. Master of Illinois.
Great. Good to be back. Joel?
I liked it better working out outside because, like, I don't know, it just gives a different vibe, like, from the weight room.
Is that what you guys did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Good. James?
I mean, kind of like what they all said, you know, it was our first normal off season, you know, not having to wear masks, not having to social distance, not having to work outside. You know, we were able to go into the weight room 3 days, 4 days a week, be able to get our work in, get out, you know, and be able to socialize. That's the biggest thing. You know, we weren't able to socialize a lot during COVID, so it's a great opportunity.
Good point. Dylan, you want to add to that?
I think they covered it all, to be honest. They covered it all.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's good to be around your teammates. Just getting, I mean, it was a tough world for 2 years, guys, for everybody, not just the football players, football coaches, for everybody in the world. Number 4, coaches ain't in the room. If I ask the players, what's the expectations at Toms River South this year? What's the players' expectations this year? Joel.
Yeah.
Joel, you started.
What do you mean by like?
What's your expectations this season? What's the football team's expectations?
I think, honestly, I think nobody knows like what we're gonna do. So like, it's kind of hard to explain.
Under the radar type thing.
Yeah. Type.
So you got something to prove.
Yeah, pretty lot of football game.
Well, I know there's a lot of excitement in that program. I know the guys you got coming back. I know the coaches are real excited. I don't think you're going to be under the radar too soon after first game, guys. I'm just going to let you know that. All right? Can we agree with that?
Yeah.
Can we agree that you got a chip on your shoulder and after the first game, now we are back? That all right? Good. All right.
100%.
A little swag. I'll give you the short football report swag. How's that? Okay.
Yeah.
5. Last thing I gotta ask you guys is this. You tell everybody, why is it so special to be playing at Toms River South right now under Coach Martin? Dylan, start it off.
Well, first of all, he brings like a whole different environment. He always makes sure we're in line. He has always basic rules to follow, and it just helps us, stay as a good team.
Nice. Good. James?
Coach Martin, there's always going to be a standard that we got to hold. There's always going to be, something that we can improve on, something that we can learn. Playing under him, it's just it's a whole new scheme of things. Jumping from Coach Sig to Coach Martin, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Good. Joel?
I like it personally because like him being like the track coach and like my teacher, it kind of gives me like more of like coach vibe,
Good. And Devon, end it right here. Tell me why it's so great to be at Toms River South under Coach Martin.
Kind of what Joel said. I love him to death, man. My track coach. I've always had a great relationship with him. He's so up-tempo and great to have him as a coach.
Let me tell you why I think from the outside looking in. He's been there for a long time. He loves you guys. He's got a lot of energy, all right? And he's excited. So hopefully you guys, if you guys are half as excited as he is, you guys are going to have a great season. You really are, all right? I'm going to be signing off. I want to thank you from the Shore Football Report coming on here during your busy time. And best of luck to you guys this season. After game 1, everybody's going to know who you guys are. Remember that, all right?
Yep.
Thanks, guys. Be good.